Bayern. I've been the number one.
But that should give you the determination to, you've got the league and Champions League. That should give you the
determination.
to
try and push for those.
And he's doing that, to be fair.
Yeah, he is.
Goalkeepers have a union though. Where
goalkeepers, you're right.
He's not going to be bemoaned at.
No, he won't be. He won't be
because
because
fellow Spaniard.
He won't be. Of course, he won't be because he's been the cup keeper and he's obviously normally the number one, so he won't have much qualms.
Now, make no mistake though, it's just a slap in the face because obviously it's not paid off, but that did cost us the game. Whether, but at the same time it won City that could, you could say it won City, got City a clean sheet on the reverse side of it. Yeah. So, ultimately though, that did lose us the game.
Yeah.
Kepa, gone.
I want to conclude it with this from my point of view, is that every case is unique. But Arteta got it wrong. So specifically for him in this case, he got it wrong for sure.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
I just think that
specifically this, because everything's nuanced. I get what you're saying in general. With the cup keepers, then it's good to show loyalty. Yes, okay, so we're back for another episode 16, Minichats. Big week of football, including Champions League, big week in the Premier League, and of course we just got the League Cup Final, which we just watched, the EFL Cup, League Cup, whatever you want to call it, but probably the smallest British trophy there is to win in all of the major competitions, but yeah, man. The game just happened. Man City 2, Arsenal 0 at Wembley. Ended a little while ago. Obviously, Shubs is going to mainly take point on today's pod because that's definitely the main topic. We're fresh off the game, so about 1 hour removed from the conclusion. And yeah, man, there's a lot to get to with it. I guess I'll go first though, because you've got a lot to cover regarding this. So when I saw the lineup, I'll be honest, I've been playing Bare Crimson Desert, so I saw the lineup, but I didn't really take it in because I was locked in on Crimson Desert. But once I started watching the game now, I was surprised to see Trossard start, which I was like, is that Trossard? I was saying to you, you're like, oh yeah, I was like, okay, mad. But he was on the left, and I thought that was a very bad decision to make because Gyökeres isn't fast. He runs a lot, but he's not quick. So to have Trossard, Gyökeres and Saka as your start attacking line, to me was a mistake by Arteta. Because Arsenal have come up against so many low blocks, similar to City and Liverpool this season. We did speak about it not too long ago, to be fair. So they have come up against a lot of low blocks, right? So with that being the case, I do slightly understand the notion of having those players because with the low blocks, they're quite technical, Saka and Trossard. So when there's so many players back in the box, them being able to probe, they're good at that. But Man City, they are not this type of team, bro. You had to have known it was going to be a back and forth game and it's going to be ping pong. They're not going to sit back and try and defend. They tried to do that, in fact, against Arsenal at the Emirates, and they drew. That was a draw, right? That ended a draw at the Emirates.
Which game?
Arsenal Man City earlier this season.
Yeah,
ended a draw, but Arsenal dominated them in that game. So yeah, I knew that they were going to obviously open up the game a little bit more. They've got better players from the 5-0 last season. They've got a lot better players, so they're for sure going to stretch the game. So not having pace on the flanks to me was a bit of a rookie mistake, and it played out that way. First 20 minutes, Arsenal were really good, but you have to punish Man City. I know that as a Liverpool fan, you have to punish him. So in that first 20 minutes, they should have got a goal. Havertz should have scored that goal. He didn't when James Trafford did 3 saves. or whatever. He definitely should have put that away. But after that, after the first 20 minutes, Man City more or less controlled most part of the game, to be honest. Like, after that, it was actually pretty bad to see from Arsenal for like a final. Obviously, it's like their first big game in a while, like big game, and they got dominated at Wembley in my opinion today. Like, they defended well for sure, but other than the defence, every other department was far off it today in my opinion. Like, far off, because the defence will do their job, get it out, and then it'll just be straight back into Man City's feet. Whether that is because I think Gyökeres didn't pin himself to their deepest centre back. He should have been right on the offside line, basically, in my opinion, because Gabriel and Arsenal, they just kept smashing it out like far out. So you just have to be a nuisance, and he normally is, but today he weren't really doing that job well. And then also the midfield today was fucking far off it, in my opinion. Like, Rice was okay, but Zubimendi and Havertz were fucking off it, bro. Like, no presence in that midfield. The amount I was just seeing Rodri, like, just have the ball at his feet, and then whether he was moving the ball with Shirky, kind of doing bits in Cam, a lot of nice bits from Shirky today. I'm gonna come onto that later regarding Verts when we get to Liverpool later in this pod, and our poor result. But Shirky was doing bits in that middle. You had Rodri kind of just making sure everything was secure. And then Bernardo Silva was obviously offering what he can. And that midfield dominated the midfield of Rice, Zubimendi and Havertz today. It got absolutely dominated. And it's only Arsenal's defence that you can say they're the only ones that can give themselves a pat on the back, to be fair, for today's result. But if you want to include a goalkeeper in that, then no, because obviously it's mainly all his fault. A lot of it falls on him. We're going to get to the big kind of debate whether do you stay loyal to like your backup, or, you know, we're going to get to that. I think that was a mistake also. Like, it's a final, and it's nuanced though, so we're going to get to that when we get to it. But man, overall, from what I just watched, just was fucking poor from Arsenal. Like, Arteta as well got it really wrong. Should have been Martinelli instead of Trossard, in my opinion. We know what he does when it comes to counter-attacks. We've seen it so many times. And that defence was going to, for sure, give away counter-attacking opportunities. It's going to be a back-and-forth game, bro. They're not about to park the bus or low-block shit, so... Yeah, I thought he got that one wrong. But yeah, again, the midfield, mainly on the midfield and the attack today. It's hard to say who. Maybe the attack, because everyone was off it in the attack, whereas Rice was decent. He didn't put like a great performance in, but he was okay. He was decent. But just not good enough from Arsenal. Not one player I can say played great or good, to be honest. So yeah, man. Just it was Saliba played good. He played really good. But other than him, no one else really. So, and Calafiori had some moments when he came on, but it's a whole different game, and they're chasing 2 goals behind and shit. So, yeah, man. Only Saliba's the only player I can say that played good for Arsenal in a final. So, poor, to be honest. And I did say that, look, Arsenal fans, maybe you end up leaving with just a league, or I was thinking maybe a League Cup or just a FA Cup or something, and that would still be a successful season. Of course, what the expectations have been, it will be like a massive bottle, but I think Arsenal just got to be resilient, innit? It's the smallest run out of all of them, still so much to play for. Got to learn from that for sure. But yeah, man, just got to be resilient about it, get back. You've got like an opportunity to kind of get revenge on City, where you go to the Etihad. That's going to make or break them, really. So yeah, man, that's overall how I feel about the game. That's like my breakdown of what I saw. And then Man City they just turned up and did what they do, kind of. Like, even Haaland was shit today. but it didn't matter because they had all the other players that knew it was a final and they turned up for it. O'Reilly did his thing. I did say to Shevs earlier that it's mad because obviously the theory he had, Skelly came out of nowhere kind of for Arsenal, then threw a massive spanner in Man City's works last season, and then Pep kind of got O'Reilly as his little vengeance piece, and O'Reilly in the end's won the war, bro, because he's won the trophy. Now maybe the league can change things, and he's played a fucking huge part in both. They keep saying it's the O'Reilly Cup, so like he won the war, bro. To be honest,
They both got 10 years left.
Yeah, they got long left. So okay, won the first battle. You can say he won the. Yeah, he won the first battle then for sure because they're called.
No, the battle started last year when Miles did Haaland's celebration.
Well, O'Reilly's winning. But either way, because in the game that Arsenal played in, that Skelly didn't get a sniff in, they're calling it the O'Reilly Cup.
Yeah,
so he fucking definitely bodying him right now. But like,
that's cool.
But yeah, man, it's funny, man. A lot to talk about, bruv. Imagine if Semenyo picked England instead of Senegal. He'll be starting right wing for England, no doubt. So like, there's a lot to get into, but let's get to you, bruv.
To be honest, man, it's just like deflating. It's not even really like coming here to be angry or rant or anything like that. It's just a deflating performance, man. Like. And even starting with the lineup, obviously the news filters in like an hour before about Eze missing. Timber we expected to be missing, but Eze being absent was unexpected news, but nevertheless happened. And that was obviously a big blow because Eze's got a fantastic record at Wembley. What he did last year against City in the final. In the final, delivered against them. Even at the start of this season, I think, won it on Liverpool's head in the Community Shield. Like, he's good at Wembley and in these kind of moments. So, for Eze to be... And he's in good form right now. So for Eze just to be missing, just in the blink of an eye, was a big blow. Because, at this moment in time, he's like the face of Hale End, if we're, like, keeping it real. And, he was missing. And so, obviously, but... I'm still not calm about it, but I'm still like, okay, well, Havertz at 10. Last week we were saying I've kind of liked Havertz at 10 this season because it's a different midfield role to the one when in his first season. And, in his first season when, he was playing in that sort of box-to-box role, I don't think it suited him. But in the sort of 10 role that he's been playing this year, I think he's joined up with Gyökeres as a good second striker and they've had a decent dynamic. You can almost say he's been Gyökeres' best support cast this year, if not Trossard. So I was kind of like, well, okay, there's that. It's just that on the bench, there's no game changers for that role. Like, Odegaard's injured, Eze's injured, Nwaneri's out on loan, scored today, by the way. And, so there's a huge problem there. The only guy you can bring off the bench to play midfield is Norgard. So, goodness, it's a support, like, for all this squad shit, like, I think now we're in bits at the moment. So, like, obviously that was concerning, but nevertheless, I was still like, okay, well, let's give this a go. Now, Trossard is the one where, I agree with Dami here. Like, I was saying this to the Gooners I was speaking to all week about how, like, he's like... Trossard, man, like it didn't make sense in the sense that he can't stretch the game, and I knew this big Wembley pitch would require players that can hurt the opposition on in transition and whatnot. I think Trossard is only decent for when we're playing deep blocks, and that sort of Trossard inside little angled pass that he does, it works in that sense, but when you got a game that's going to be open like this, he's useless. Like, why would you do that? So I was like, I thought he would go Noni or Martinelli on the left flank, and he's just left it as Trossard. And it's like, I don't know if maybe he thought Pep was going to park the bus like he did against him at the start of the season. Maybe he planned for that, but Pep was always going to go for it in a final. Like, Pep respects himself too much to do that. And I don't, so... that was disappointing, to be honest. I think Trossard was kind of mainly... And then... but obviously the big one is obviously Kepa and Raya.
Yeah, man.
And so we were debating this like earlier. So I guess we can have it. I mean, my position is that loyalty should be rewarded in the sense of he has been the keeper through the whole cup run. Been shaky at times. Even the Chelsea semi-final, Chelsea second leg, you know, you can angle some blame at him for how close it became. But ultimately, you know, I do think, what kind of message does it send to someone if you say you can play throughout the whole tournament and do well enough to get us to this bit, but once we get to that bit, you're not going to play. Now, I think for the cup, domestic cups, it stands. I think Champions League, you've got to be a bit more... Like a Champions League final now, like, because that even goes back to, I remember Flamini, when he was playing out of position at left back through the whole run, and he was superb there. We like had a clean sheet record, like one of the best runs of clean sheets in the Champions League when we got to the final in 2006, and he was superb. But then Ashley Cole's fit for the final. It's the biggest game in our history. Ashley Cole, the best left back in the world at the time, is going to play. And, you know, I didn't think that decision was wrong. Now, on the flip side, I got Flamini's gripe, and I've heard rumours that Flamini held that gripe with Arsenal for the rest of his career, hence he left on a free a couple years later. So there is that element, but I still think the right decision was made. So it depends on the game. I think for a League Cup game, you give it to Kepa. But you're saying like
so
you should make...
For me, I think that it's nuanced. It's very nuanced. I think you should make the change. You're a bit doomed if you do, doomed if you don't as a manager, because it all depends on the end result. Let's say you bring in the goalie who has your first goalie, but he hasn't been playing throughout the campaign, this particular campaign, and then he makes a big mistake, then all the stick will be on the manager. So it's quite a nuanced one, and it can be you're doomed if you do, doomed if you don't. But I think you just got to, for Arsenal, where they were at the time, a trophy. You're part of the journey, Kepa. A lot of it matters who you're playing against. That's a big part of it, to be honest. It still comes down to tactics at the end of the day. So, like, Man City, are they going to have a lot of the ball on your side? Yeah. So then don't you want a goalie who's comfortable with ball at his feet? A lot more like, you've got to be... It's not as simple as like loyalty. So some tactics got to come into place, right?
But what about the fact City did it with Trafford and it's paid off?
So another nuance is how far is the drop off between your 1 and 2. So for instance, for me, right, let's say last season with Kelleher, I'm a little bit indifferent with a final with Kelleher and Alisson. This season I have to be Alisson. Like, if it's him and Masvidal, and it's any final, it's Alisson, and there's no debate, right? Because it matters how far. Now, Trafford, to me, he was going to be their main goalie. It was more Donnarumma was available for cheap at the time, so they were like, fuck it, we've got to get it, and they brought it. You know how Man City operate. They cheat and just throw money like it's nothing, so...
But ultimately, you saying Trafford's better than Kepa?
But James Trafford?
Yeah. Because I mean,
yeah,
I don't see too much.
I'm saying that Man City brought him with intentions of him being the number 1 when they brought him. So like that's what I'm saying. So you brought Kepa with intention of him being the number 2. So
right, but the levels they were both playing at, they quickly learned he's not that, and we never know, to be honest. I think they might have bought him to almost trick him into that, because City do that shit where they're trying to like gather so many homegrown like for that quota. They'll just cheap like they kept Carson going till like 45 just because of homegrown quota. They want that homegrown quota, and he's homegrown at the club even, so he's club grown even. Yeah. So that is even a bigger bonus in the Champions League. So there's nothing to say that they might have just tricked him into, you're going to be this, and then had the plan all along to bring Donnarumma in, because the rumours were going strong for a minute. And so we never know in that, but in regards to the levels of those two keepers, like Trafford's obviously had the far better game today, tested a lot less though, but they were both mid-table last season, starting, like Kepa was starting at Bournemouth and they had a pretty decent season, same team that Semenyo just got a £50 million move from, and Howson got a £50 million move. Kepa was like their top 3 performers.
Okay, cool. But as I said, there's nuance. So I said this when we actually had the debate in real time. But Donnarumma's been fucking shit. In the last 2 weeks, I don't know if you've been seeing, but the mistakes he's made, he's been terrible. So, with the nuance of that as well, Raya's actually been on form. One game recently, Raya kept them in the league race, I think. Recently, there was one mad save he made. He's actually been on the better part of his form of the season, if anything. So as I said, it's nuance as hell. It's not just as simple as, you played a second. You've got to look at everything around. Wrong decision today, for sure. The keeper's on form. It's your first silverware since you first got there, your first season. All of these players, basically, it's their second for some of them, but first for most of them. It's a big one. Raya's been involved in most of this campaign, Kepa, you've been the guy, but the full campaign, from 3 years or so, it's been Raya. What is, obviously Raya can, what's to say that he's not disappointed right now, bro? Kepa just come in this season, he's been the tournament keeper. This our first big trophy final. What if they don't get into another final this season? And the only final I didn't get to play, Raya, and I've been the number one. But
that should give you the determination to, you've got the league and Champions League. That should give you the determination.
To try and push for those.
And he's doing that, to be fair.
Yeah, he is.
Goalkeepers have a union though. Where
goalkeepers, you're right.
He's not going to be bemoaned at.
No, he won't be. He won't be
because fellow Spaniard. He
won't be. Of course, he won't be because he's been the cup keeper and he's obviously normally the number one, so he won't have much qualms.
Now, make no mistake though, it's just a slap in the face because obviously it's not paid off, but that did cost us the game. Whether, but at the same time it won City you could say it won City, got City a clean sheet on the reverse side of it.
Yeah.
So, ultimately though, that did lose us the game.
Yeah.
And, Kepa, gone.
I want to conclude it with this from my point of view, is that every case is unique. But Arteta got it wrong. So specifically for him in this case, he got it wrong for sure.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
I just think
specifically this, because everything's nuanced. I get what you're saying in general with the cup keepers it's good to show loyalty. But let's be honest, we got to be more nuanced than that.
I think the personnel is obviously the error, but I think Principality stands correct. Okay. Personally, I do think you have to keep that. You just have to keep that message going. Now Champions League is different for me, but League Cup is cool. We've learned though, and let's say we get to an FA Cup final. I mean, the next game is Southampton in the FA Cup.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see. Kepa will play that because Arteta will want him to rebuild his confidence for sure. But if we get to that final now, I'll be interested to see what he does in that case. And we'll see. But ultimately, my biggest issue really is Arteta plays the same way regardless of personnel.
Okay.
Kepa's playing. Because I've seen on commentary and everything and people talking about Arsenal taking too long, and that's how if you watch us in the Prem, that's how we play. That's our build up. We draw the opponent in, and we're usually that patient, and we draw them in, and then once we make that killer pass between the lines, then we leave them for dead. Basically, we kill them. So my problem is you can't do that with Kepa. He's not got anywhere near the same quality on the ball as Raya. Raya's ball playing is superb. So to do that with Kepa, and then Gabriel's always been shaky on the ball. They were having the most ball dominance between the back five. And that was a huge issue because City were basically closing off their angles for Saliba to collect, and they were basically allowing Gabriel as a pressing trigger. They were allowing him to get the ball because they knew he was shaky. So... for me, that was a huge issue in terms of why do you always play the same way regardless of who's playing? The system should be altered when a different player is playing. That's been my problem with Arteta all season, to be honest. I think Calafiori and Hikampie's games, for example, are different. Play a different way when one of those left backs are playing. Calafiori's better in this inverted channel stuff, and then Hikampie is more of a whip, but don't use them both as inverted. It's not the same. He keeps doing that. Trossard, the same thing. Should Trossard be you know, Trossard keeping width so much, but then Martinelli having to do the same role. They're completely different players, and that's my main issue with the inclusion of Kepa. Like, he's not good enough on the ball to play that way that we were playing. It was very shaky, but the tactic wasn't wrong in terms of, like, when they were saying we're wasting time and this is where, no, there's nothing to do with it. That's our game. That's how we've been top of the league all season, if you've been watching. So there's that point. Like, I just heard it on commentary and it was just like, it's just way off the mark, mate. So there's that. But we, like, if we're now getting into some of the players and the performances, like, it's just time to, like, be very real with certain players.
Well,
the only one,
well,
do you know what? I'm gonna start with the ones that are praiseworthy, and there's not really that many. Yeah, there's not that many, to be fair. So,
are you basing it off this game? You're saying
this game,
on this game, the season, like.
Now I'll talk this game, but I'll also include the season, because this game has, kind of been critical in understanding the climax with certain, like, understanding who belongs where in this team. Like, this is the first big game, like, in a long time. Like, if you exclude Champions League run last year and that, but a final, you get to learn more about who's who.
Yeah.
And Saliba locked up Haaland, absolutely bodied him today. Like, that for me, Saliba. Like, at the start of the season, I was a bit upset with the way Saliba was talking in terms of, like, obviously he's got ambitions and all of that, but, like, for me, it's just, I don't like when players premeditate their move or whatever. Like, I just prefer it to happen. But, like, you know, Cesc did that was annoying, and you know, all these players, but then when he signed the deal, it was like, okay, well, let's shut up about that transfer thing now and all that, and let's just focus. But you can see why he's got the ambitions he's got, because he showed that he's a winner at the end of the day, and he was let down. Like, he bodied Haaland, absolutely destroyed him. That's Haaland and Mbappe in his pocket in back-to-back seasons now on a big stage. You know, if you want to say the two best nines in the world, or two most efficient nines for sure, that's in his back pocket, like, both of them on a bigger stage. And Saliba's not to be played with, for sure. And yeah, fantastic performance from him. And then I'll say Declan Rice did his thing as well. Like, I think Declan Rice was good. You could tell, like, he wanted that. Otherwise, everyone's shit. Like, I would say everyone's a 6 and below out of 10. Like, everyone. Like, and, you know, we can now move on to, like, some of the players. I mean, Gyökeres is nothing new. It's just nothing new. Like, it's just, like, a bad investment, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a bad investment. It's like, I like, because the thing is, obviously, everyone's aware we need a left winger next season, but I think we need a striker. Like, and to me, actually, I think the best thing for us to do now is to, if we do get a left winger that can play up top. So that's why I'm kind of understanding the Gordon links. For me, it's a Gordon profile, but not him. I don't think he's good enough to take us to the next level. Personally, I don't think Gordon's anything special, but that profile makes sense. Someone that can play left wing and up top, so you can play with Gyökeres in some games and you can play alongside him some games. Now, the ultimate player of that caliber, it would be an Alvarez. Julian Alvarez is like, and for me, we need a superstar level player. I think Nico Williams is someone that I would look to do that too. With, I remember at youth level he's played up front as well, and I think we should revisit that situation. I think. I do feel with Basque players as well, they get Arteta, they carry out what he wants on the pitch. Kepa didn't do that today, but Zubimendi and Merino really carry out Arteta's ideas. It translates really well from the two. And I think Nico Williams will be another part of that. And I think he's got potential superstar quality. Yeah, his numbers aren't great, but I think, you know, the way he plays, he can be an outlet, but he can also be someone that can come up against the deep block. He can link well with the attacker, and he's just got that aura about him, like he's a top player. So I think Alvarez and Nico Williams are people, but that profile makes sense. Like the player that can play off the flank, but also up top. where you can displace Gyökeres as well as play alongside him in some games. Because for me, there's no guaranteed starter in the whole attack, to be honest. The whole front three, I don't think. Unless we sign an out-and-out superstar, which Arteta won't do, I can't see. I think everything's got to be rotational. So I would look at situations like that. Because Gyökeres just not been good enough, man. It's just not banged. It's not worked, man. Like, he's just so average. And like I said, I do get happy when he scores. It's always a nice moment. And, you know, he's had an impact in terms of we're top of the league and stuff. But these big games, it just happens again. He just not got the quality, man. Like, it's painful watching him run out there. So yeah, I mean, he was poor. Zubimendi's disappointed me for a long time as well, to be honest. But you know, there's not much to say. It's just him being weak and stuff, and you know, it's just like pass selection I haven't rated. And you know, Rodri was saying, I remember start of the season, Rodri was saying it's time for me to sort of pass the torch over to Zubimendi, but he's still holding the torch out there. Out there, he outperformed him by a mile. So ain't no torch being carried over. I know maybe for Spain they're looking at it different, and I don't know if Zubi will end up starting over Rodri if they start together. Maybe, I don't know, but there ain't no torch being passed yet. Like Rodri, dog walked him out there. So you know, like when Zubi's ready for that, and I think he'll have a good second season once he's adjusted. But when Zubi's ready for that, let me know, because it's not happened this season in my opinion. In Europe he's a bit better, but in the league I think in just English competition I think he's been very below par for the expectation. So there's that, and then obviously the big one is Saka. Yeah, man. Like
Trossard.
I mean, I kind of said like
before we get to Saka, Trossard.
Yeah, no, I mean I said he shouldn't have started, and he's slow and stuff, and like I do think hopefully it is Trossard's final season with us. I love what Trossard does. I think he's been a great servant, a great signing and stuff. But I think if we want to make space for a winger, the chances are like Martinelli probably will grab us a bit more cash. But I'm wary of what you do if you sell someone like that and then replace it with a Gordon, who for me isn't that far above him at all. I don't even know if he's better. Like for me, Harvey Barnes has outperformed Gordon this year.
Fair enough. So that's in summer you really like left wing / striker is a key position to bring in. And Trossard goes out.
For me, ideally, but
before you get to Saka though, what's your opinion on Kai Havertz's performance today?
Yeah, Kai Havertz is. I just think it was like poor, but it's him. Like he's not played enough this season, and it's one. But I was disappointed because he's a big game player. At the end of the day, though, he still had our best chance, and you know he's very good at just roaming in those areas, creeping in. But yeah, it wasn't a great performance from him, to be honest. Like that's like it is what it is. But I'm not even angry at him or anything. Like it is one of those. He hasn't really been fit all year and all of that, and then he's thrown into a game like this. So I'm not angry with him, but it was a poor game from him. But like I know he's still got a big part to play this season. Like he scored a big goal penalty in the Champions League.
Yeah, of course.
And you know he's just one of those good squad players to have though. Like I think we're far removed from him being a starter now though. I think those days are definitely done. Like a guaranteed start. I think some games you can bring him in, but I think someone that's kind of versatile, kind of like how we use Mourinho. Like if we need him in a 10 for certain games for a certain tactical use, you do him there. If you want him up front for a certain tactical, you do that there as well. But I think we're done are the days of him being a guaranteed like out and out starter for us. I think if we want to advance, then that's not going to happen. But quality squad player.
And Saka, we get to
man. Saka's obviously the big one, and like it really hurts. Like just watching him out there, like I really expected a lot from him. Like just in general, like you know from his come up, you know from his debut, but I think we've hit a halt now where I do think to get to where we want to get to, there's a chance it's leaving him behind, man. And that's just being real. Like, I do think he's falling into that Odegaard and, you know, because when you think about that 22-23 season that we all love, the only survivors that remain in the first 11 today is Saliba, Gabriel and Saka. Maybe you can count Trossard too, but he came in Jan, so it's a bit different. But, like, the only survivors from that that lineup. Like Martinelli's no longer a starter, Jesus is no longer a starter, Xhaka's not at the club, Zinchenko's not at the club, Ben White's not a starter no more, Odegaard is debatable but not really a starter anymore. Like, and then Ramsdale's not here. Like that whole team has been broken down and dismantled, and Partey's gone too. So like, there's only, and I feel like I expected Saka and Saliba to be the ones that would sustain the whole way through, but it's looking like Saliba and Gabriel are the only kind of survivors, and Saka might be going towards the same direction as a lot of those players that just didn't stand the test of time, and like his body's shot, the injuries killed him like a lot. There's also that slight suspicion of, is he saving himself for the World Cup, which would be very disappointing because this is Arsenal's biggest ever season, and you're like meant to be the face of the club and from the academy. Don't be like throwing away our most important season for no World Cup. Do you know what I mean? Like the World Cup's big and that, I get it, but like, you know, this is, you still a lot to play for this season. Like this is meant to be historic for us, and you weren't there. You didn't turn up like throughout, and like it can still be redeemed. Like, has he got big Champions League games in him now, or whatever? Does he change his position now? Like, do you go to the 10 or whatever? But I think on the wing, man, he's not got it. Like Nico O'Reilly, like a big thing we praise Saka for also is his defensive contribution, but Nico O'Reilly scored 2 goals off the back of him. So like, you know, you haven't troubled him going that way, but he's bodied you going the other way. Like, what use is there, you know? Like, so I think now Saka's really got to be rotational, like, to be honest. I think even like if he goes to 10, rotational, but on the wing sometimes it requires Noni. Like, let's just be real, we need that 1v1 threat who's gonna drive at the fullback. Saka against deep blocks, but in an open game, like I'll go Noni now, and I think be brave with it. And you know, obviously we've seen what's coming from the academy now as well. Like that, as something's gonna have to give on that flank soon. So yeah, man, like. That's it with Saka. Like I'm never gonna just like go crazy on him or whatnot. But I'm very disappointed. I feel like, you know, pocketing is not something that was familiar with him, and now we've had. For me, I think I keep saying it. Cucurella had moments against him, but then Kirkes was the biggest low, and then Nico O'Reilly today. You know, it's just like there's too many left backs having joy against Saka now, and I think as a right winger, I think something's got to give. I think things have to change, man. So I'm really disappointed with his performance in the final, and I think even just long term, I don't know how he can sustain things. But I mean, ultimately though, let's just regroup, keep going. There's still a lot to play for. There's not, you know, there's no need, we can't stay on this too long. Simple as that. Like even though the next game's an FA Cup game, like. Like it's still big, you know. If you still want to win, like I don't just want to win the Prem. Like another cup with the Prem would be lovely. Obviously, the big 2 is the ultimate dream, but you know, if we can do a double of some sorts, let's just keep going. You know, next game's a big chance to regroup. Hopefully, get some kids playing out there.
Who have you got in the FA Cup next?
Southampton. So I mean, that'll be a nice game for Kepa to, you know, just get a bit of confidence back. We'll get to that debate once the final comes, and if we get to the final and, you know, we face that situation again, we'll get to that. But next game should be one for him to at least just, you know, redeem, like get some, you know, just get his head back in the game. Hopefully see some kids out there, and the players can keep going, because there's a lot to play for. We're here for the big one, the big title. Like, that's what we're here for. And, you know, there's a great opportunity for us to play City again and, you know, take our revenge on them. But, like, also, like, finishing off, like, I'm done on the Arsenal stuff. I do want to give credit to City, like, because Pep is the GOAT, man. Like, it's just, that is what it is. He surpassed Fergie a long time ago for me. But he's just the best ever, man. Like, ultimately, he's just done everything. He's plays the best football. He has the best way. Obviously, the money he spent has been a lot, but, you know...
tactically, he is.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's been a lot of managers that have spent a lot of money, don't know how to spend it. Like, Slot this year shows he don't give certain people money. Who else? Like...
Chelsea
spent a lot of money. There was another manager too, like, that spent bags and it just didn't work. So it's not always. It doesn't mean money's not always the deciding factor. Just because you spend a lot of money doesn't mean it's always going to work. So Pep gets big money for the you know, there's a reason he gets them. Yeah, for the right reason, and he's just the greatest ever, man. Like he just keeps winning, and I just knew it was more like a symbolic effect to it, where that's why I wasn't that confident. Even last week when people were saying the form and stuff, I was saying I'm kind of cautious of that, and it's just like a symbolic thing. Like Pep is Arteta's dad in this game at the end of the day, and I just knew the master student wasn't gonna overcome the teacher. Not just yet. Maybe, you know, in May, we'll see how that goes. But I knew in a one-off final, I had a feeling. So Pep just knew what to do, knew how to play us. And I think Arteta made it slightly easy for him once we had no counter-attacking threat. Yeah, he must have saw no counter and said, let's just push up. Like, they ain't going to break on us. So let's just push up and, you know, there's no threat in behind. And so, yeah, I think Arteta made it easy for Pep. But credit to Pep, man. They did well. And I think City played well. And, you know, Nico O'Reilly had a good game too, you know, fair play to him. Cherky, you know, is a bit of a twat, but he's an amazing, special talent, bro. He's like so good. Like obviously the showboating and stuff, but I don't even really get mad at showboating because it's like we put ourselves in a position to get taken a piss out of. Like I'm glad Ben White like stamped it, like kicked the fuck out of him though. But at the end of the day, like we let ourselves get disrespected. So fuck it. Like what can you do? Like he's just having fun with it because they're comfortable and they're winning and they're about to leave us for, you know. So yeah, man. Like that's kind of all I have on that game. Like I'm just deflated. I'm not angry. I'm not pissed off or anything. I'm just deflated. But we go again. We just got to focus on the other trophies now. And just see how this goes. So, yeah.
Because very similar position to us last season. But I'd say we had the Prem wrapped up. But, we lost to Newcastle in this position last year. And we thought we might, do a treble. Maybe. But I think we're already knocked out of the FA Cup. So the Champions League, maybe a double. But then obviously PSG. So... I mean, just a Premier League is still good. Like, if Arsenal left with just a Prem, judging by the standard of football, that'd be good. Like, because the football hasn't been great. So, like, in my opinion, like, it's just winning a league. I'll take that. Like, as an Arsenal fan, it just hasn't been good football, in my opinion.
I would take it, but I do feel like the first one, because there's just such a big pressure on it because of the 20-year run, not at the Emirates and all that, and then even just a trophy, it's going to be the hurdle, but the first one's going to be the most difficult. But I do think like we have to make sure that especially if Pep's gone, we have to make sure we dominate an era, because even looking at the top 4 race now, I don't know who's close. Like it's only City, but there's a potential that they might have a big change in the summer. So like we have to make sure that the first one is that push and whatnot, and hopefully it gets a bit easier from here. Like the first one's a big mental block.
But that's why, because it's been so long, I think that's why one trophy is a good starting. Like sometimes you can get too ambitious. Like learn how to maybe walk before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So get over the line here, but
the
way things are looking. If you ended
the season with just a Prem,
that's what I'm saying. You said
that'd be disappointing earlier. You said
I would be disappointed. But I'm saying like the Prem ultimately, like I still feel like we need to dominate an era with Pep going, and I'm looking at the top 4 race. Like none of them are close. So I feel there's an opportunity. I've always said like. The big thing is getting yourself in position for when Pep does leave City. Like I've said that for a while, and I think if we like we're in pole position right now, but the way it's looking, it doesn't look like it's got that Liverpool effect towards the end of their season, where it's like you can tell next season might be a bit of a
that's how it looks to me. Because I've never, you guys know if you watch this pod, I've never respected the football of the season, and it's like. You sacrifice that to win a lot of trophy. Like, if you play this football and bottle everything in the end and don't win anything, I think some big players are leaving. Also, like, I think Saliba leaves, to be honest. Like, if someone maybe pays a big bid, but I think he goes. You still keep a lot of other players, still Arsenal, they'll still go. What is the question with Arteta's future? But he'll probably stay because I'm sure the Conke's son loves him and
big questions
he's
will be
changed,
asked, though,
but
for
he's
sure.
kind of changed the team. They will come back to maybe like, okay, it'll be big questions asked,
Yeah,
but
big
more. No one put Arsenal as a favourites at the beginning. Everyone said Liverpool, so I guess it'll be it'll be weird. It'll be a difficult one, to be fair, how things go. But yeah, man. Obviously, we spoke about it. Mad result, but I don't know with Arsenal, man. I don't know. They have to win a trophy. They have to win a trophy, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
They have to because there's gonna be this disarray, to be honest, in terms of where do we go with Arteta. Where's the project at? For me, some players are going because they've given it fucking everything. Saliba and Gabriel. Saliba, they can't give more, bro. For Saliba, in his case, they've given everything this season. So it's just some teams. You're right though in terms of the rest of the league looks weak, but I think some other teams will. There'll be a weird thing where Arsenal kind of drop a little bit, and some other teams raise a bit, and then everyone will plateau a little bit at a similar level. So I still think we're a bit of a project, Liverpool ourselves. So I think we might be able to be alright next season. But yeah, man, there's just a lot to say. There's still so much. It's funny because a week ago, it felt like the season was pretty much done. To me, that Arsenal win felt big. It felt like, okay, the league's probably done. They'll probably win the League Cup because City have been terrible. But everything is opened up, bro. The last month now, from April to May, there's just a lot to play for and everything, so many stakes. So yeah, man, this season it's a weird season. It's a weird one. I guess I've just been following it so closely. It's felt like there's been a lot going on, but the football hasn't been great, but just the jeopardy has. But I think we can move on to Brighton versus Liverpool now, which there's no more you want to cover regarding Arsenal. Okay, so so Brighton beat Liverpool yesterday 2-1. They were at home. Of course, I kind of covered another L. It's a little bit annoying because it seems I'm quite depressing about Liverpool on this podcast, and I don't want to be. But it seems like whenever we do really good in the Champions League, because we record on a Sunday, the following weekend we always end up losing. So, as I said last week with Slot, it always feels like it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back, or vice versa, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And it's kind of like that again, another week of that type of vibe. We start with the starting 11. I weren't impressed. Gakpo shouldn't have started, in my opinion. I would have gone with Rio. Of course, Salah was injured, so he couldn't start. But I still would have started Rio instead of Gakpo. I think it's been shown that when Gakpo is in that attack, it lacks dynamism. It's not very dynamic, and normally it gets exposed. And that was shown, to be honest. So that's a little bit annoying. And then, did you watch the game Brighton Liverpool?
Yeah, I saw the first half, but it's just at 1-1 or whatever. I saw Welbeck score and all that. But
yeah,
it's just the same old.
Yeah, that's obviously another issue. Welbeck and Milner both kind of body us, and they really should be past it, bro. Milner's in his 40s. Welbeck's more or less in his 40s, late 30s, and yeah, man, weren't good to see how they kind of turned up on us again. It's just, it's very redundant, to be honest. But I do want to harken back to the Champions League game a little bit, because this kind of annoys me a little. I'm glad about it, but it's bittersweet for me, because when that game was really good, Salah's performance great in that game, played cold. But the tactics we had, Salah was he was more or less playing up top with Ekitike in that game. And I saw a heat map of the first leg, the second leg. First leg he's a right winger. Second leg he's like a right striker where he's like in the box. And I did like a tactical breakdown in December about how Salah now, you need to make sure he's next to the goal. He's very redundant being by the touchline. These days you've got to adapt and put him next to the goal. Slot basically did that in the Galatasaray game, and we see the performance we got out of him. Whereas like there's a bit of a new lease of life, and it's like, it's something I did identify. This isn't hindsight. It's something I identified a while ago. So it's annoying when these things aren't identified by the coach and the manager. And then he does it, but then the next game, the tactics change. And there's a lot of chopping and changing the tactics. Always kind of referring back to Gakpo all the time. That's like a default. And whenever that happens, we don't play as well. There's been Chiesa hasn't got an opportunity at all this season. Rio got one, played amazing in it. Got taken away from him again. Whereas I think he probably should have started in the game because he just offers so much unpredictability when going forward. So, yeah, man. Again, I'm not going to go too deep about the whole Liverpool and slot thing because it's pretty redundant now. I think everyone knows where I'm at. Now, obviously, I still give him the Champions League. We have to see how we do with the Champions League. But Liverpool fans, to provide a little bit of hope, I will say this. 2004-05 season, we were fucking bad in the Prem. We actually finished 5th and Everton finished 4th. We're bad. But in the Champions League now, we just kept finding a way to progress. And obviously Istanbul, I think this year the final's in Istanbul. Yeah, so obviously Istanbul it was back then. And we just figured out a way to keep progressing. Even though we were very bad in the league, we finished 5th. Below Everton. And it's looking like that might happen this season, bro. Which is funny, they're climbing up. But yeah, man. But in the Champions League...
But how long is Hugo out for? Cause...
I forgot to check that actually, so I'm actually not too sure. They kept saying a dead leg in the game, so obviously that shouldn't be too long. Hopefully he should be day to day with that. I do need to check that. Should be back in April, but PSG game is early April. I don't know if he'll be back by then. That's literally around the corner, a few weeks away. So yeah, we need Ekitike fit for that game for certain. Like if we got to do like Gakpo up top or whatever, I don't know. It'll have to be Salah up top too, I think. But like, yeah, man, we need Ekitike definitely fit for that. I need to check when he's back. But let's say he is there. That 2005 final in the league we did bad, and there's elements of that I'm feeling because in the Champions League. This season, I'm more confident for PSG this season than I was last season, even though we were like the champions and everything. Like this season, the way we performed against Galatasaray, if we can get that 11 again, Soboslai's at 8. Like the whole Soboslai being, he's at 8 to me. Like Soboslai 8, McAllister 10. That's been a misidentification of position all season, in my opinion. Like, Soboslai actually should have been in the 8 and McAllister 10 because McAllister's not got the cojones to play deep. He needs that layer of protection in front of him. So, yeah, man, like, if we set up the right way, I think we can bring it to PSG. I don't think it's the same PSG as last season. Barring they did embarrass Chelsea, but so did Everton. Was it Everton? Or we just, embarrassing the other day. So, yeah, there you go. Like, I think we still might be able to do something in the Champions League. And of course, I'm still slotting until that competition. We do run that risk of just finishing 6th with nothing, which is what I said. Like, we just keep letting him week by week, and then there's that risk of we finish 6th and no trophies, which would be mad. And we do run that risk, and it's looking like that way in the Prem. I'm not going to lie, we just keep dropping points. If the other teams that are going for top 4 draw, we're like, fuck it, we'll do one worse and lose. Like, we've just been bad, but yeah, it's just been bad. Every single opportunity we can take to grasp and secure ourselves as a top 4 team or whatever, we keep fumbling it. So yeah, from in the league it's looking very bad. It obviously can't go on like this regarding the league. He's going to need answers. We can't just be a Champions League manager like on a Madrid thing, because it's not a Madrid thing, because Madrid are definitely going to qualify for the Champions League every season. You need to know how to deal with your bread and butter, which is the Premier League, and he just lets out of his depth in that field. So we keep going until the Champions League. We see how far he can take it. Again, I said the PSG game is the one, so where he can sway how I feel about him, and we're not there yet. So once we do that game, I'll be able to give a better take of where I'm at with Slot, to be honest. But I'm still kind of Slot out, but end of the season. But yeah, man, not much to say with Liverpool apart from those things, really. Yeah, I was thinking.
Kirk's finally adapting.
Kirkes. Kirkes, but Kirkes came along a long time ago. He got his goal. I think he came along a little while ago. Like, he adapted to me around maybe December time. Like, he had a very rough start, but it got to a point where he still makes a couple mistakes here and there, but for the most part, he was doing bits where he was playing better than Van Dijk, and Van Dijk was making hella mistakes in the defence, not Kirkes. So I think he came around a little while ago. But I was thinking we can talk about the England selection, because, of course, this is a big international break. This is the last international break before the World Cup. So, this is a big one, and, the selection's been announced.
Yeah, so we got Henderson, goalkeepers, 5 goalies: Henderson, Pickford, Ramsdale, Steele, and Trafford. Defenders: Dan Burn, Guehi, Lewis Hall, Konsa, Livramento, Maguire, Nico O'Reilly, Kwanzaa, Spence, Stones, and Tomori.
Yeah.
Any of those raised eyebrows, or seems all legit?
So Marcus was telling me that Tomori raised an eyebrow for him being announced, and obviously Marcus is an AC Milan fan. No, personally, no, not for me. I think Kwanzaa's he's competed to far levels of the Champions League this season, starting. I think he's been playing right back this season a lot for them, so he's a bit of a utility who can play right back and centre back. And we would have loved to have him as a piece this season, for sure.
Konsa.
Yeah, for sure. So
the one that's left.
The one we left. Yeah. We would have loved to have, like, if we could have kept him for depth and shit.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing.
He played against us the other day.
For Leverkusen, exactly.
He's good.
Yeah, he is. He's good. He's been one of their decent players, like new signing, and.
You still got a buyback clause, though.
Yeah, we do. 50 million.
Is it 50 mil? That's crazy.
Yes, which is quite a lot. But he's got a lot of, like, he's one of the good young defenders, to be fair. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's British too. But would I exercise that now?
50 mil's a lot. I didn't realise. I thought it was like 35, but it was cheap.
Bastoni is my choice, because I think we do need an A centre back. So, like, the dominant leadership centre back, we need one of those ASAP, in my opinion. So, sorry, keep going with the squad. But no one in defence raises any eyebrows for me.
Midfield: Anderson, Bellingham, Garner, Henderson, Kobe Mainu, Palmer, Rice, Rogers, Wharton. Glad to see Kobe Mainu back. I think that's got to be seriously...
Yeah, I guess Garner's having a good season.
Yeah, Garner is.
Yeah, it's Everton,
Yeah. I'm glad there's more central midfielders, because I'm not really that comfortable with Jordan Henderson. Like, I know there's stuff about, like, dressing room, like, all of that and whatnot, but I think, like, the decision Carl Walker... By the way, all the best to Carl Walker. I think he's been an amazing player for England.
Sorry, so with the defence, I forgot. So Trent didn't make it.
Yeah, Trent didn't make it.
Yeah, so...
Reece James must be, being rested, because... You would expect Tuchel to take him.
I think you got to bring Trent. Like, thing for Tuchel. Like, I understand why, maybe from his perspective. It seems like a lot of managers don't really like Trent, I'll be honest. Like, Slot, I don't think favoured him. I don't think Alonso really favoured him. Clearly, Tuchel don't favour him. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp loves him.
Yeah.
But so I don't know what it is, because when there's loads of managers that don't really favour you, there's a question mark there for sure. You know what I'm saying? This is what it is. Obviously, his defensive abilities are a bit below par.
Yeah.
But what he offers going forward in his passing, and even set pieces.
The only thing,
sorry, go on.
yeah, no. The only thing I see it as is like, I don't know if it's laziness or, like, for international managers, I get it, because you have to build a system around him, like you don't have enough time in international management.
Yeah.
But I think Slot got that horribly wrong with, even though if you don't want to say Slot willingly sold him, I think Slot made or created that environment in the first place where Trent became like a bit unhappy and stuff. But I thought Tuchel was good enough to make it work with that. Like Southgate not being good enough not to be able to use Trent in the way he should be used makes sense. But I thought, I'm disappointed in Tuchel for, like, Trent's back in form now. He actually played well. I watched the City, the first leg City game. And Trent was superb.
Yeah.
Like, Trent's a top player, and I'm disappointed Tuchel. But then also, I've always noticed Tuchel's had a bit of tension with Klopp and stuff. So maybe that's the thing of, well, that's Klopp's guy. Like, Reece James is my boy, whereas Trent's Klopp's guy, so I'm gonna go mine. Like, maybe there's that element to it, or it's just, I can't say he doesn't rate him. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't rate him. But there's either that element, or he just can't be asked to, like, build a system around him. He hasn't got much time. He's been brought in literally to win a World Cup. Like, I think they have extended his contract now though, but ultimately that's still the goal for England. So I can see why he's made the decision he's made, but yeah, man, I'm disappointed though. For me, like, England not making it work with Trent is gonna be one of the big shames of, like, just this generation, because Trent has been phenomenal, and you know.
Yeah, man. To me, like, the most talented right back England have ever produced, and I know, like, as a right back, in terms of what a right back is rated for, maybe not, but the way he can strike a ball, him and Szoboszlai got that thing where they can strike a ball so well, but Szoboszlai is more for shooting, but he's still a very capable passer. And then Trent is the opposite. His is more for passing, but he's still very capable at striking a shot from long distance or free kick. But there's not a lot of players in the world right now that can strike a ball so well, and for that player, one of them, to not be in the World Cup is a little bit bittersweet, bro. I'm not gonna lie, but stylistically, whatever, I get it. Like, he's
I do want to shout out Kyle Walker though. Announced his retirement, and he's just been a phenomenal announced his retirement international, by the way. Yeah. But he's been a phenomenal servant for England. I think 96 caps. I saw his interview about it, and, you know, like, I like the way he spoke. He was there for, you know, the whole run, you know, in terms of when England got knocked out to Iceland in 2016 and went out with a whimper, to when England then became great. And then he had to adjust his position, played in the back three as a centre back, and, you know, he was there. And then I saw the thing he said, he wished he took a penalty instead of the Rashford, Saka, Sancho trio. They felt like, as one of the senior players, that's one of his biggest regrets. And, you know, I respect that, you know, as, like, obviously a fellow black player, which he identifies himself as. Like, you know, he felt that he didn't, like, he wished he stood up for those guys, especially at the stage of their careers that they were at the time. And, I liked hearing that, you know, it was a good interview. And, yeah, man, like, all the best to Kyle Walker. I think he's been brilliant. I mean, I think he's still got enough to still challenge to make this World Cup squad, but I see why, you know, he's just ready to call it a day, and because he was chasing that 100 caps. But like, all the best to him. I think ultimately, in terms of consistency, you're probably talking about the best Premier League right back of all time in terms of just the greatest. Let's say, maybe best is a different topic, but greatest, he's won multiple titles at City. Neville kind of, like, said it to him too. It's almost like he's giving him the torch, even though, you know, it's debatable if Neville was that in terms of, like, best. But he's still, you know, he was still in that conversation. and he was basically giving it up, saying, "Kyle Walker, I think you're definitely better than me, this and that." Credit, there's been times when he's pocketed. He's been able to come up against the Mbappes and Vinny's and stuff, and like come out unscathed in some of the games. Like great tactical weapon. Change his style of play significantly. He was just a flying width up and down fullback, overlapper, and then became like inverted. Then became more defensive, and then started thriving in the build up and all of this and. Yeah, how he adjusted his game from what I saw, who started off as just an athlete to becoming like the complete package. I think Kyle Walker's been brilliant, and he's one of those players I just respect. I just respect him type shit. So, yeah, man, all credit to him. But the midfield is Anderson, Bellingham, Garner, Hendo. So I named them. Mainu, Palmer, Rice.
You said you're happy
Rodgers,
that because of Henderson that there's more.
Yeah, Jordan Henderson. That there's more options. Like Henderson is doing well, and it's a nice little revival. Like I really like the stories of even seeing Milner out there yesterday against Liverpool is like that meme where it's like, look at us, like still going, look at us still going. Like their man are like 38 or whatever.
Man,
like
that's because of their mentality, and that's the issue of what we don't have at the team now. That's why they can keep going, because they have a certain mentality.
Yeah, great mentality. They've both done well. And even like Xhaka in some ways, where they've come back at mid-30s and they're doing well in the Prem. But I think at a World Cup that we're kind of expecting to win, like I wasn't comfortable with him being immediate backup. You can take him, but it was at one point it was looking like if one of Rice and Anderson's not playing, Hendo was immediately in, and I think we've got better talent than that. Yeah. I think Kobe Mainu now reviving his season is good news, and I like Garner too. Good tech.
Yeah, so, he's having a great season.
Yeah, so this feels a bit better.
Yeah, what's who the forwards?
So Bowen, Calvert-Lewin, Eze, Foden, Gordon, Kane, Madueke, Rashford, Saka, Solanke.
It's a lot of players. Okay, Solanke made it.
Solanke over Welbeck.
Which can you just do the strikers? So Kane, Solanke,
Calvert-Lewin. And it depends what you consider Rashford. Yeah, Watkins is not going.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
No Welbeck.
Good options, I think. We actually spoke about this either on the pod or personally. But just 3 strikers they bought, I would have bought 2.
Calvert-Lewin, Kane and Solanke.
Yeah.
No Welbeck.
No, I wouldn't have bought Welbeck, and because I think Calvert-Lewin can offer what Welbeck does, to be honest. But obviously Welbeck's a bit more experienced, and he's done good for England, to be fair. Welbeck has.
That's what I'm thinking.
But you don't want too many. It's like what you're saying about Henderson. That's that times 10.
But so, do you think Hendo should go though?
I think Henderson should go, but you can't have too many of those types. And then what you're trying to tell me with Henderson, Welbeck is that on steroids. Like, in my opinion, he is coming off a good season.
Yeah,
but it's actually
in my view, I think he's in his prime. Like this is it, like that goal against you, man, was
a brace against us.
That the first one though made it his best ever tally in the Premier League. 11.
11. Fair,
So I'm kind of looking at it as like, no, this is his prime. Like in terms of clinicality. Like his prolificness. Like he's. Maybe in his prime. That's why I kind of look at that a bit different, because it's the best like goal scoring run he's had. Yeah. So whereas Hendo is like, it's a little revival for him, but it's definitely not his prime. Like his prime is when he's running all over the place and all that.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting. Because I'm not mad at who we bought.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it, but like Solanke is a bit like the man are getting relegated, and
he's injured for a lot of it though.
Yeah, but what's he really done? Even coming back though, what's he?
He's got a few goals since he's come back.
Yeah, first.
Like a couple, and they've been bad. Like they've maybe got that's a handful of goals in the year. Like, and he's contributed to a few of them. To be fair. Like he weren't available really when throughout the majority of the season. There was Colo Morani and Richarlison. So man, like I give him a bit of grace. It seems like it's weird with what we said last season about if Tottenham are back, because they obviously lost today against Forest. which is looking mad for them.
Yeah.
Like they might actually get relegated.
Yeah.
But there is one thing I want to add to the Liverpool-Brighton game, which I forgot about. But it is regarding Wirtz, especially after just watching this game and what Shirky did. And it's like, with Wirtz, right, I know I've kind of haven't really gone on Wirtz as much as I was earlier in the season. But I do need to come back to it because it's just the price we paid. And then what I saw with Shirky, I think Shirky turned over possession once in this game. The things he was doing with the ball at his feet, in terms of just proceeding the play, being positive and just making sure it doesn't always have to be super magical or technical to pass, but just keep possession and make sure it plays forward as a playmaker. And what he was doing today is what we haven't seen enough from Wirtz, and it's been an issue of efficiency with Wirtz this season, bro. Just a lot of turned over possession, and as the playmaker and who you're meant to be the most secure on the pitch for us and who we can like rely on to kind of keep possession and advance play, he's got to really improve with that side of his game a lot for next season. That's like a big thing for him to work on. I'd say Shirky definitely has outperformed him in that factor of the game. And for what we paid compared to what Man City paid for Shirky, they're similar age, it's just not good enough, in my opinion. And just take that performance. I don't know if anyone watched, but even the Liverpool game yesterday, there's one moment deep in our half, in our third, where Wirtz basically in quick succession 2 times turns over possession, trying to do one of these like kind of fancy smart passes. And you just don't do shit like that in your third. Obviously that comes with experience. But yeah, man, you just don't do shit like that in your third of the pitch. And yeah, he's just got to really improve that side of his game, I think, to justify this price tag. Just wanted to add that there. But is there anything else you've got to miss out on the England bid? Pretty much done.
Yeah, no. The England thing, it's been nice to see how it goes type shit. But there's no real complaints, like nothing controversial there. Apart from Trent.
Yeah.
Some of the others I think are just formalities. I think he wants to protect Reece James. I definitely expect Reece James to go.
Yeah.
So yeah,
man.
The England thing.
But no, man, that seems like the episode.
Wait, no, Liverpool. You were saying Tottenham. Now I do want to talk
Tottenham?
on.
Okay,
No. Quickly, actually, I'd rather talk on the Tyneside Derby because I've been following that. And to be fair, I was up north not too long ago, in Newcastle and stuff. So even like sort of and Sunderland actually for a bit. So even talking to some of the fans, because there's proper football in City that, and just the fans and kind of getting it. Like Newcastle fans are concerned and looking over their shoulder because this Sunderland train is coming hard and like they really want the City, and it's very interesting what's going on. Like Sunderland have the chance to finish above them. They've done a double over them, and it's the first time they've faced each other in 10 years in Premier League. So to do what they've done and the way they beat them at their place last minute, it's really concerning. Newcastle have had a really bad week, battered by Barca on aggregate, and today to lose. And yeah, you just wonder, where's the light at the end of the tunnel? Like, if Newcastle lose Gordon this summer, then again you're talking about two big superstar star players that they've had to sell. Where are Newcastle trying to go as a club? There's a chance that Tonali goes this summer too. Like when we were hearing of ownership and stuff, we were thinking that Newcastle, the potential here is mad because if they have money and given how their stadium is, the big proper footballing city and all of that, you expected them to who knows, could they do a little City thing or whatever? But it's not really gone that way, and they're losing their best players, and it's seeming like they peaked at that League Cup trophy the same way Tottenham peaked at that Europa trophy. It wasn't the start of something, it's become the peak of something instead, and that's a really concerning situation because Sunderland are like really good. Like Sunderland got a lot of talent, shout out to Talby. I've always rooted for him, and he scored today, like their first goal. And then Brobby's a handful, and you know Xhaka there, you know he's just done great. Like so, Sunderland have a good team, man, and like it's interesting to watch that. But that was a good game today. There was a great game that, and I always enjoyed that derby. Even back in the day, I remember when Lee Cattermole was there and he was having run-ins with I can't remember who was the midfielder for Newcastle at them times there, but yeah, that derby's always been fiery, feisty, and just those Geordies just love their football, man. They love their football, so it was great to watch, and yeah, all the best to both teams actually, because even though I've always liked Newcastle a lot, like when Sunderland bought Xhaka there, obviously that was like, oh, because I like Xhaka. And then Talby, someone I've been scouting for a while as well. They've got a lot of players I like too.
Yeah,
so
that centre back you guys used to have.
Ballard too, of course. Yeah. So they've got a lot of players where like I like watching them when I get the chance to, and that was a good game today. So yeah.
Would you bring Ballard to World Cup?
No, he's Northern Irish.
Oh, he's not English.
Northern Irish.
Fair. No bad, because he's having a great season.
Yeah.
And anyway, yeah, man, that's it for this episode. Episode 16, Minichats. Yeah, a little bit deflated because obviously we both come off losses. Big loss for Arsenal, of course, but we'll see if they can bounce back.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, that's it. Peace.
Still a lot to play for, boys.
Peace.